Welcome to Crime Focus, the weekly podcast where we take a closer look at the criminal underworld.
Today we're deep diving into the world of money laundering, how it works, who's involved, and what the impact it has on our economy. My name is Anna and I'll be your host tonight. Because one of my guests is currently serving time, we're not recording in our usual studio, but instead from an office inside Antwerp prison. My first guest is Karim, the former money launderer for Belgian drug importer Hosni Ajarai.
Hey.
And joining us as well is Professor P from Ghent University, who holds a master's degree in criminology and completed her PhD on the effects of money laundering on legal markets in Flanders.
Good afternoon.
It's a pleasure to have you both here. How do you define money laundering?
Money laundering is the lifeblood of a lot of organised crime. It's how illegal money becomes usable in the formal economy. It might just look like complicated accounting or investments, but it's about disguising the origin of funds gained through crime. Its negative effects are vast, as it slows down economic growth through less investment, slows economic expansion, and adds to poverty. It's something that has a lot of impact on different aspects of our lives, but the lack of studies hinders our awareness about this phenomenon and its effects.
So now we know what it is, but could you tell me who's involved in this illegal business?
Well, different kinds of people are involved depending on the scale and technique that's used to launder money. Some guys do it themselves. I've seen dealers and even key figures from drug trafficking businesses launder money in their own name or through a company. However, they can only launder smaller amounts of money. For larger amounts of money, the big guns come in. Professional money laundering networks who use all sorts of techniques to cover the traces of the money and launder it.
So you're saying organized crime is outsourcing the laundering part, just like legal businesses outsource accounting or logistics?
Exactly. Same logic, different businesses. Professionals get called in to move money inside the system, and not all of them are in the underworld. Some wear suits, have offices, business cards, and even good reputations.
Professor P, do you have some insights to add to this?
Well, we indeed see different forms of professionalism, ranging from a simple disguise of ownership to professional money launderers who advertise their services. As Karim said, we're seeing a rise in professional money laundering networks that launder money on a large scale, perfecting their craft. We also witness profit-seeking professionals such as lawyers, accountants, and bankers becoming part of the laundering chain. They enable criminal activities either deliberately, under coercion, or through negligence.
That's right. Their legitimate status gives us easy access to the financial and legal systems necessary for laundering proceeds, setting up offshore entities, and concealing beneficial ownership. They are the so-called professional enablers of financial crime.
Corruption remains a serious concern in Belgium. Analysis by the CTIF shows that government officials, from Belgian servants to EU representatives, can be involved in money laundering. Some carry out small transactions, while others are simply paid to look the other way. Bribes are often used to ignore illicit dealings in sectors like banking, real estate, and gambling. While it's hard to measure exactly how deep this corruption runs, it's clear that all levels of the state can be touched by it. The Financial Times has even warned that Belgium risks becoming a narco state, as some officials at ports may turn a blind eye in pursuit of profit over public order.
I hear you name a number of legal sectors. How and why are they used to launder money?
Yes, money laundering occurs in various legal sectors. First, professional football in Belgium is highly vulnerable to crime such as money laundering and is achieved through player transfers, payments to agents, and investments in clubs. Additionally, money can also be laundered through real estate purchases. These often include low-cost properties that require substantial renovation expenses.
The financial sector in Belgium is very attractive to money laundering. Especially, the increasing use of technology in the financial sector provides more opportunities to launder money. It makes it easier to make transactions more anonymous and harder to trace. Those are the most commonly used legal sectors to launder money. However, if you want to stand out as a money launderer, you have to be innovative and come up with new ways and sectors to launder the money. I've seen former colleagues launder money in various different sectors.
How widely known is it globally? And what is specifically known about Belgium?
Globally, it's estimated that between 2.5 and 5% of global GDP is laundered every year. This is between 400 and 1,000 billion euros. This large amount of money moves through our financial systems undetected. Even though many countries have experienced incidents of money laundering and other financial crimes, certain regions are clearly more vulnerable than others. Typically, countries with weaker anti-laundering regulations, especially those with high levels of banking secrecy, are more prone to money laundering activities.
An unstable economy is also a big factor that appeals to money laundering. Countries like Haiti are appealing to launder money due to its vulnerability, but ain't no way we are trying to clean our money through to Iceland. But despite people believing Belgium to be safe, it is still a hub for money laundering.
That's true. There are lots of credible sources that confirm Belgium as a hub for money laundering. In 2023, the Belgian Financial Intelligence Unit reported 79,211 suspicious transactions. Its strategic geographical position in Europe and its legal infrastructure make it an attractive place to launder money. The use of ports, cross-border trade, real estate services are important accessories in the Belgian landscape.
How is Belgium trying to tackle this problem?
A snapshot of Belgium reveals a country that has made combating money laundering a clear priority through multiple initiatives. One of the most significant is the establishment of the Financial Intelligence Processing Unit, which is responsible for analysing suspicious financial transactions related to money laundering and terrorist financing, as reported by institutions and individuals designated under Belgian law. Belgium has also implemented a range of measures to align with international standards and recommendations, particularly those issued by the Financial Action Task Force and the European Union. For instance, a FATF report noted that Belgium's money laundering framework has always been around and is compliant with most of the recommendations, but continuous updates to financial sector guidelines and stronger international cooperation to address ongoing risks. To comply with EU standards, Belgium introduced a 2018 law aimed at making money laundering more difficult by strengthening preventative measures within the financial system, reducing the use of cash, and requiring companies to register and disclose their ultimate beneficial owners.
Is money laundering a separate phenomenon, or is it often associated with other forms of crime?
Money laundering is a phenomenon that often occurs in conjunction with other forms of crime. The two main types of crime associated with money laundering are drug trafficking and human smuggling. It shows a particularly strong connection with the illegal drug trade. Within this context, so-called underground banking systems are frequently used to conceal criminal proceeds and integrate them into the legal financial system.
People pay very large sums of money to help them cross-border. Human smuggling, therefore, involves substantial amounts of money that are usually obtained in informal and secretive ways. We reinvest this money, often in our country of origin, for example, through the purchase of cars, shops, and restaurants.
Karim, time's up.
Alright, we're wrapping up. So what have we learned today? Money laundering isn't just about hiding dirty money. It's an engine that keeps organized crime running. It touches our economy, our institutions, and even our everyday lives.
Exactly. People think it's all about moving cash, but it's way more than that. It's about power, connections, and finding loopholes in the system. And as long as there's profit to be made, there will always be someone ready to launder money.
That's true, but the fight isn't hopeless. Stronger regulations, better cooperation between institutions, and public awareness can make a real difference. The key is to stay vigilant in both the financial world and society as a whole.
Thank you, Karim, and thank you, Professor, for sharing your insights. And so we have come to the end of the podcast. I would like to thank my two guests very much for being so open about this difficult subject.
Dear listeners, see you next week for another new crime-focused podcast with more interesting guests and another crime phenomena.